Come on. There we go. Okay, I'm live on YouTube and Facebook. I usually have more lights on. I probably should turn on a light. Never mind. Okay, I'm just killing time. I'm waiting for someone here, so I'm just killing time. I thought I may as well do a live. I'm finished everything I have to do. So anyway, if you're, I'll just wait till people turn up. I might turn an extra light on. It looks really dark. There, is that better? Oh, a little bit better. Here we go. So, just looking at your names. I recognize a few regulars. Let me see here. Okay, so I'll just get started. As I said, I'm just killing time. I'm just waiting for someone, so I'm just killing time right now. Good time to do a live, right? So anyway, my name is Lisa. If you're new, welcome. If not, welcome back. I'm a parenting coach, a mom, and I'm also a grandmother. And I'm just here answering questions and also throwing other stuff in. Oh, you're very welcome. So thanks for your support. I always appreciate that. If you do what you love and you really feel like you can make a difference, and then when people get on board with that, it's wonderful. They say that service is the most rewarding thing you can do. Serving other people, helping them. And yeah, it feels great. It's always better. I'd always rather give to someone else than give to myself. Not that I'm selfless, but you know what I mean? It's more fun to help other people than to help yourself anyway. It's holiday here, Belgium, trying to use for connecting and bonding. Hi, Samaya. I think I said that right. Yeah. I always say discipline is a tiny part of what I do. I'm more about connecting and bonding with your kids. And once you've done that, then discipline is easier anyway. Because once you've connected with them and they feel validated and enjoyed and wallowed in, they're much more likely to listen to you. But it's not just that, because if there's no rules and boundaries that you are actually, making work, they can just take over. So I'm just waiting for your questions here. As I said, it's a weird time for me to be on. I'm just waiting for someone. So that's why I'm just thought I'd do a live while I'm waiting, because I always find this really relaxing. I finished all my Christmas wrapping. I'm done with all that stuff. Felt great. Usually I'm still doing last minute things on Christmas Eve day. Not proud of that, but usually I'm really bad at that. I don't know why I do that. I would say, everyone's got flaws. My biggest flaw that I'm working on is procrastination. I tend to procrastinate. Not with cleaning and fitness or anything that I love, but just with everything else. Everything else. Okay, so I'm just waiting for your questions. What do you do with a kid when no matter what discipline you try, they say no and refuse to move? To your 12-year-old boy, check out the boot camp course. He's still within range. It can actually go up to 14 unless they're 12 going on 20. You know what I mean? Check out the boot camp course, because I don't know what's going on. It's always you, by the way. It's never them. We're not fixing kids. We're fixing and teaching parents. You learn how to lead, they will follow. As you go into the teen years, it's not like that so much. I haven't got a course on teenagers yet, but he's still well within range of that boot camp course. I undershot that course. It could actually probably stretch up to 13, 14, but I wanted to make sure that it would apply to pretty much all 12-year-olds. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but it doesn't start before 3. Yeah, and you said no matter what. You just haven't tried. There's always something else we can do. If you want coaching, that's one-on-one with me. That would be, there is a bit of a wait list for that right now. But yeah, if you're interested in that, that might be an option too. But I'd suggest the boot camp course. That costs money, but if you don't want to pay money, just go in and do the behavior board. That's completely free. So, and it's the behavior board is in the boot camp course. There's a lot more to it, of course, in the course. But a lot of people are getting great results just doing the behavior board. What should a preschool do if they have a toddler that bites other children? Oh, no, I don't teach teaching or preschooling. I only teach parenting. I don't answer that at all. Stay in my lane. I was going to read something out loud, but I know it's Hola from California. Isn't that pronounced differently? Did I say that right? Hola. It's not Hola, it's Hola. Spanish, right? Am I right? I'm horrible at other languages. I can barely handle English, let alone other languages. Anyway, let me know if I'm right. Is it hola, like hola, or hola, however you say it? Okay. My question is, how do I help my child 21 months to eat different foods? I can't really answer that one. I can't either because I'm not a nutritionist or a doctor, but I'll tell you what I did with my own kids. I always cooked around their taste buds. By the way, I hate cooking. And I made everything from scratch. So they were never holding out for any junk food or anything because we didn't have any. So they didn't get used, they didn't have a sweet tooth or anything because they didn't get that, right? So that was one thing that I did, but I'm not saying you should do it because I'm not a doctor or nutritionist. I'm not qualified to discuss nutrition, but I can talk about my own personal experience. Okay. Get what I'm saying here? Okay. So I did cook around their taste buds. I knew what they liked and I made everything from scratch. I could hide healthy stuff in anything. And then if they'd eat it, I'd think, oh, I'm just going to up it a little bit. One thing I did, I thought this was so funny. And I made everything from scratch, like bread and everything. So my son, God, I hate cooking. I never cook anymore. I just prep food and steam it or throw it in the oven. If even that, I use a slow cooker a lot. Pressure cooker, that's it. Anyway, my son, the first time he ever had pizza outside of our home, he came home because he was at a birthday party or something. And he came home and he said, Mommy, the pizza was really weird because the sauce was red. He was used to my sauce, which was brown because I made it all myself and I pureed spinach into the sauce. So it was brown. He thought that was normal. Isn't that cute? And they couldn't figure out because I made a lot of cakes and muffins and cookies, but of course they were all healthy. So whenever my kids would go out to parties, they would go nuts with all the sugar because they weren't used to that. And anyway, so I won't go on about it. You know, if you like sugar and feed your kids lots of sugar, I'm not judging that. It's just what I did. But yeah, they'd come home and they were like, wow, everything's so different. But they always came home with a stomach ache because their stomachs weren't used to all that bad stuff, right? So yeah, it's kind of a health food nut. And I'm not as fussy. I wasn't as fussy as I am now because I can eat. I'm not raising kids anymore. I'm really fussy now. But back then I still, gave them a lot of stuff just because they liked it that I wouldn't necessarily have wanted to give them. Like we would have breaded cutlets, which are just because they didn't like meat basically. So I'd buy those breaded cutlets. I look back on that. Oh, but anyway, it was when they were older, not toddlers. How long did you keep that healthy diet? Till they hit the teen years and they were out with their friends and they ate all sorts of junk food. That doesn't last. So I did the same thing. When I was a kid, I really liked healthy food. That was all we really had. And then when I was a teenager, I ate garbage, right? I went to McDonald's and all that stuff. Not that I'm saying that's garbage, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? And then now I'm back. I won't go into how I eat, but yeah, I'm fanatic now. I'm nuts. But yeah, I went through the stage. My kids went through that stage. My daughter actually has a holistic nutrition degree. We just love nutrition and health and all that and working out. It's not for everybody. It just works for us. What do you do if your child won't do the consequences? He's 12. There's always two consequences. There's a positive action, which is you can't always get them to do. That's why I have a negative deprivation. You take something away from them. So the first option is, hey, you can mop the floor if you won't. And then if you won't do that, say, okay, fine. Now 24-hour media blackout starts now. And check out the behavior board. The behavior board is completely free. So you can check that out. And by the way, thanks for your support on the podcast. It is just doing fantastic. And we didn't know. You never know what's going to take off, right? So yeah, that's why we've made some adjustments to the business because the podcast has been taking off so well. So yeah, we're just thrilled with it. So thanks so much if you're listening to the podcast. It's BratBusters Parenting Podcast. It's on all the platforms. If you're interested, you can check that out. That's why I'm not doing the regularly scheduled lives anymore because we are going where people are going. So more people are going to the podcast than the lives. We can't do everything. I'm still doing a lot of lives, but when I have time, like today, I'm killing time. I'm waiting for someone. So I'm just killing time. So when I have time, I'll pop in and do a live because I love doing them. But the regularly scheduled ones, all that time, that was like 3 hours a week. I was doing that, an hour and a half each one for two times a week. That's going more into the podcast and other things and coaching. I didn't like the fact that regularly scheduled lives, those were taking over for coaching. That was starting to get to me. So yeah, I pop in when I got time. Okay. I feel so bad about giving my baby no salt on the food. Of course, she hates most of it, but I keep trying what the doctors say. But I don't know. I can't talk about nutrition. You know what I'm saying? I only can talk about my own personal experience. But you do what your doctor says, your nutritionist, or what you feel is right for your own kids. I don't have any qualifications for that, so can't talk about it. It's not my area. Plus, I hate cooking too. God, I hate it. I did it for like 30 years for a family. Ugh, it's torture, absolute torture. I love cleaning though. Give me a filthy toilet any day over cooking anything. Ugh. I guess because I'm such a fanatic cleaner, to me, cooking is mess making, but I'm a health nut too. So I chop everything. I'm very, like, I eat a lot of raw stuff and that. I'm very good at food prep, but I don't like the cooking. I like the cleaning. My daughter loves to cook. So whenever we get together, she does all the cooking and makes as much mess as she wants because I love all the cleaning up. So it's great. What behaviors aren't added to the behavior board? Anything in the attitude department, like don't be snotty, be respectful. You never talk, or you should listen to me. None of that. Listen the first time you're told. A lot of parents put that on there, even though there's a warning not to do that. That's in the attitude department. What you're actually doing is you're demanding respect, but you haven't earned it yet. If your kids don't respect you, it's because you haven't earned it. You got to work for this. Don't expect to get it for free. You got to earn this. I don't expect to get anything for free in this world. Certainly not respect. I work my butt off to get respect with my kids and every other kid, hundreds, thousands of kids I've worked with, teenagers. I work my butt off to get respect. So you got to earn that. Don't blame them if they're rude to you. Boy, I went off on a rant. It was such a simple question. I don't know what happened to me there. When should I introduce chores for my 21-month-old? Around 3 is when I started, and it was so simple. Make your bed every morning. They just pulled up a duvet. Put your dirty clothes in the hamper. It was all really easy stuff. But they were, okay, I have a toy rotation system that I really recommend you use. So when I said, okay, and I always use the as soon as method. So when they were really little, I'd say, we're going to go to the park. Let's pack up all your toys first. They would race around putting their toys away, but they only had 5 toys out because I did a rotation. So there was never really a mess. So yeah, they just had to maintain clean. I always say that I never clean a dirty home. I maintain a clean one. And that's sort of the way I raised my kids. Are they like that now? No, but they're adults. They can do whatever they want. And plus, don't put your ways on your kids. Like I mean, as fussy as I am, I was very aware of the fact I didn't want to put that on my kids. I happen to love cleaning. I can't function in a dirty or not unorganized home. I don't care what anyone else lives like. My own environment has to be clean and organized. But I didn't want to put that on my kids. So by the time they were teenagers, I gave them the gift of a dirty room. But there was no food or dirty clothes allowed in their room. That was it, because they would smell, right? I said, I don't want rats nesting in your room. That was, so that was the only rules I had. Was no food or no dirty laundry allowed in your bedrooms, but they could do whatever they want, as messy as they wanted. So I gave them that gift because I didn't. And also when I was cleaning and I asked them to help me, I never expected them to clean at my standard. I would go in afterwards and just, not that they were bad at cleaning, but not to my level. So yeah, don't put your own nutcase stuff on your kids. I knew I was nuts with cleaning. So I'm not OCD, by the way. I'm just, I would say I'm anal. There you go. Yes, I do have a tour rotation already. Thanks. Yeah, so use the as soon as method. As soon as they want to do something fun, we're going to go to the park. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. So let's pack up your toys and then we're going to go. By the way, any teachers that they're going to have in the future will thank you for that, because they're going to be so like self-disciplined. They're going to understand that they don't just leave a mess behind wherever they go. So yeah, teachers are going to thank you for that. So they don't have to teach them that. Clean up after themselves. What would you say are the top 3 leadership qualities parents should master? Number 1 is, I'm going to read it out so I don't get it wrong. I wrote it, but I sometimes forget. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I don't like the way I hate talking about this one. I just didn't write it out very well. I don't like the way it sounds, but I haven't changed it because it's what I think. Top 3 leadership qualities. And I say this would be with a lot of adults too. Is number 1 is be calm during the storms. So when everyone's upset or mad, just stay completely calm. Treat that anger with your kids, especially. Treat it like a business transaction. When they're acting out and you're disciplining them, there's no emotions. Calm during the storms. The storms are the conflict, the discipline, all that stuff. Number 2 is you can be crazy during the rainbows. When everything's fun with your kids, be crazy, fun, goofy, whatever you want. So calm during the storms, crazy during the rainbows. And the last one is be a great listener. And what I mean by this is you listen to understand and show empathy, and you encourage them to solve their own problems. So you're not coming in with, here's what you should do, or yeah. You listen to understand and show empathy, but then you encourage them to problem solve. Don't give advice. When they're really little, that's fine. But by the age of about 4 and 5, I didn't tend to hand out advice. If they came to me with a problem, I'd say, oh, that is frustrating. What do you think you should do about it? I might have some, I don't know, Mommy, what do you think? Well, when I was your age, I think I remember something like that, and I did this. So I'd say, but what do you think? Does that sound good? So I always encourage them to come up with their own solutions. You don't want to raise dependent children. You want to raise independent, high-functioning adults. That's your goal. And it starts at a very young age. And the teen years, I think a lot of they're my favorite age, by the way, is teenagers. That's what I kind of specialize in. But a lot of parents struggle with that because prior to that, they're trying to, if you're a leader, they're trying to please you. They're kind of a reflection of you almost in a lot of ways. But by the time they're teenagers, they become a reflection of their own personalities, their own interests, and their friends, their other people. They're listening more to outside influences. But if you've been a good leader and they've got you, you're the safe place to land, they will come to you and run everything by you. But don't give advice. They already know you inside and out anyway. They already know it by the time you're teenagers. So, but that's why a lot of parents struggle. They expect their teenagers to be mini me's or mini you's. That's ridiculous. You want them to be their own people. You want them to be different from you. Why on earth would you want them to be just like you? What, are you perfect? Or like, I didn't want that. I wanted them to have their own individual personalities. So I really encouraged them to think for themselves. And I celebrated it. I learned a lot from them. If you're not learning from your kids, especially your teenagers, you're doing it wrong. You're missing out. Okay. Actually, I've got to move over to, I'm going to be going soon. So I'm going to move over to, what's it called? Oh yeah, Instagram. If you want to join me over there, it's BratBusters Parenting. If not, thanks so much for joining me. It's almost Christmas, a couple more days. And I'm on YouTube the whole time. So thanks so much for joining me. Check out BratBusters.com for my free behavior board, my courses, coaching, and the podcast. So thanks so much for joining me. Happy parenting. Oh, sugar, I made a mistake. Sorry, just a sec. Whoops, I made another mistake. Oh. Whoops, I made another mistake. Come on. There we go. The reason I'm making so many mistakes is because I was cutting up squash yesterday, and it's the sap that's in the squash, and it gets on my finger, and I lose my thumbprint. Like I literally don't have a thumbprint for a day or so. Isn't that weird? I scrub it, but it doesn't matter. Weird. So that's why I was making so many mistakes. It's the sap. I'm just killing time waiting for people to turn up. You know what I have every morning for breakfast? Tons. I eat a lot. Kabocha squash with about a quarter cup of peanut butter, if not more. Protein powder, seeds, and I think that's it. Every single morning. I'm absolutely addicted. For years, I had smoothie bowls. But then I got shivers for 2 hours. So in summer, I sometimes do that. But anyway, tip for your hair thickness. Oh, I got a lot of hair, but half of it's fallen out. So I had gigantic hair. I used to be teased about it when I was a kid. When I turned 11, it came in hard. Huge hair. So now, and I never really liked my hair because I had too much of it. I was like a freak. I was great in the 80s. You know, the big hair, Donna Summers, that was my natural hair. So, but anyway, now half of it's fallen out because I'm in my 60s now. You lose a lot of hair as you get older. Thank God. So yeah, now I've got normal hair. So I've got no secret. Just be born with heavy hair. That's all. Can you please make a podcast on sleep training? I don't know if we have. I'll tell my daughter. Just a sec. if we don't, just we do have feedback for the podcast. If you want to go in there and ask, I don't know how that's all done. She does all that stuff. So, but I'll mention it and I'll see what she says. She's in charge of all that. So, and I never know what's coming up ever. Someone said, "Oh, sure you do." No, I don't plan anything. I don't plan any of this. I don't plan anything. I'm not a planner. I hate planning things. I only think on my feet. I remember once I used to do a lot of TV and radio, and it's always live, right? And this one time I turned up, and the segment that I was doing, I don't remember why, it was on TV, and they said, "By the way, we'll be recording this one. It's not going live." I hated it because then I always want to redo it. Oh, I can do better. Whereas once it's live, I'm like, it's out there. Who gives a crap? So yeah, I don't like planning anything. I get all nervous when I think of having to plan anything. Because then I feel like it has to be perfect. Whereas if I just come on here, I don't worry about it, right? Stubborn 3-year-old refusing to sit on the potty. Have you looked at the course? There's a whole system in that. There's a reward system for sitting on the potty. I don't use rewards for behavior, but I do use it for training on the potty because that's not behavior. That's learning a new skill. So it's the only thing, I think it's the only thing I use rewards with is potty training. That's it. And it's because it's short term. It doesn't go on forever. You're not still giving them a reward when they're 16. I pooped, mommy. Ooh, here's $10. Yeah, so it kind of ends. But anyway, check that out. It's a whole system. It's not a quick answer. It's a whole system. It's in the boot camp course. Okay. My 3-year-old is really, God, you're going to hate me, saddlebag potatoes. Cute handle. My 3-year-old is really being cheeky and not listening, really pushing boundaries. Please help. That's a tell. Means you're not a leader. Means you haven't earned respect yet. Remember, it's never the kids. They're just reflecting your parenting, right? At that age, for sure. So yeah, you've got to set yourself up as a leader and that won't happen. It's you. It's not your kid. Everyone wants to blame their kids for their bad behavior. Look in a mirror. It's you. When you lead, they will follow. I managed to get respect with all the kids I worked with. I never worked with an easy one, not once, not ever. No one ever said to me, "Here's an easy one, Lisa." They all went, "Good luck with this one." And I worked with troubled teens and everything. I always managed to get respect. Did I just get them all those thousands and thousands of times, sessions? Did I just get them on a good day? No, I was a leader. I worked for that. I earned it. I'll tell you, those troubled teens, it took a couple of weeks. It was hard. But anyway, you got to earn respect. That's just a tell. It means they don't respect you. It means you're not a leader. It's a tell. It means, come on, up your leadership skills, and they will listen. Okay, I'm new to your account. Can you tell us a bit about your kids and what they do? My daughter ran something past me the other day. Someone wanted, how did they do this? They wanted to talk to my kids or something about me before they hired me for coaching. That's not going to happen. Anyway, it just struck me as funny. Like they're going to interview my kids, like as if, anyway, there's a wait list for coaching anyway. I don't need that bad. But anyway, I thought that was so funny. But I'll tell you a little bit about my kids. My son's 35. He's a parent now and doing great. My granddaughter's almost 1 now. Gorgeous. They're doing great. And did I mention she's gorgeous? Oh my God, she's so cute. She's learning how to walk. And she is, when she's balancing herself, she does it all with her shoulders. So she's got these wiggle shoulders going. She's so cute. She's a very cautious little girl. I've noticed that from the time she was really tiny, like just a couple months old, very cautious. So hopefully she won't do a lot of falling in that, hopefully, but she's a very cautious, clever little thing. She's darling. They're all gorgeous. Anyway, and my daughter is 30. She's not a parent yet. They're both married. And she is 30. What do I say about my daughter? She's my best friend. She's my business partner. We do the podcast together. She's phenomenal. She was helping me in my business about 1 year and 3 months ago. She on the side, she had a corporate job she was enjoying. And she said, "Mom, you got to do this. You got to do that." She goes, "I'll do it for you on my time off." So at night, she was just helping me out in my business. And things exploded with her behind the scenes. And then she came on full time with me back in August. And we realized, because it's just unbelievable what she was able to do. So yeah, so she works with me full time. We're best friends and we're business partners. And she's also my daughter. So yeah, they're doing fantastic. I couldn't be happier with my kids. Very lucky. We all get along great. Is it Ever too late to be a leader, or does it just take more work the older the child is? Yeah, well, I specialize in teenagers, so it's never too late. It's a lot harder though. The older they get, the harder it gets. And yeah, I always say when people have a 5-year-old and they're struggling with them, and they say, "Oh, this is so hard." I said, "Well," and they're struggling to do what I tell them to do, in coaching. And I'll say, "Look, do it now, and it'll be easier. Then you don't want to hire me when he's 15. Do not want to go through this when they're 15 compared to 5. So it gets harder, but it's doable. Yeah, absolutely. But it's a different kind of a relationship. Your relationship with your teenager is not like it is with a 5-year-old. It's different. You have to let a lot go. I'm going to read out my top 5 tips for parenting teenagers. Number 1, listen to understand and show empathy. Don't listen to gather information to lecture with. If they want your advice, they'll ask for it. They already know it anyway. Number 2, negotiate pretty much everything. Hey, I want your dirty clothes in the hamper from now on. What do you want from me? Number 3, don't sweat the small stuff with teenagers. If they do something stupid and it's not a big deal, just say, well, that was stupid. Do you want to hear what I did when I was your age? And laugh it off. And number 5, sorry. So I'm just reading something at the same time. I'm not reading what I'm saying. I'm reading something else. It's stupid. I can barely single task, and here I'm trying to multitask. Okay, number 5, you can be a right fighter with a teenager, or you can be happy. You can't be both. Think about that. You're usually right when you're arguing with your teenager, but how's that working for you? Yeah, you can either be a right fighter with your teenager, or you can be happy. You can say that for pretty much any relationship. Sorry, I just have to check something. Okay, sorry, I got to get going. Got something on the go right now. So anyway, yeah, I have to go. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach, a mom, and a grandmother. And if you go to BratBusters.com, you can see my free behavior board, which has a toddler section now too. It's a little mini course, completely free. You can get my boot camp courses. I have one for toddlers, one for 3 to 12-year-olds, or you can look into coaching with me. There's a wait list for that, but you can sign up for coaching if you're interested, and I'll get back to you eventually. Or you can look into our podcast. My daughter and I do it together. She's my business partner, and she organizes it all. If you have any questions and you send stuff to my email, that's her. She does all that stuff. So yeah, she's very organized, and she does all my marketing, all my social media, and all my planning. She basically tells me what to do, and I do it for the most part. She's very organized, and I'm not so much. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, and we'll talk to you again hopefully before Christmas. Happy parenting.